Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Jake, and I am joined by a man who heard that I started competing and thus fled the lightweight division like a coward. JJ Jones, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great as the middleweight champion of the Consulates Cup.
Yeah. You're doing okay at middleweight, but we all know why you moved up, right?
Yes, it's you. It's you. I heard you were going to start competing, and I was like, you know what? I can't handle the smoke.
This guy's been doing sumo for like a couple months now. Like I gotta get out of here. Yeah.
Hey, but what's up with the club? You got a good club going on there. You got some consistency.
It's going really well. It's real fun.
And they're big dudes too. So,
we got a couple medals already. So I think Iowa's doing okay. We're still like in our, in our first year, but I think we're doing okay. We're no Honu Sumo, but we're doing okay.
I mean, it takes a while to become, under the shell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Of course you have the oh crap, color is all messed up. Raphael?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. The Raphael handy.
I mean, we also have undercover.
Undercover Raphael. I wouldn't have pegged you as a Raphael guy.
He's an asshole.
Yeah. I don't think you are though.
Well, see, this is a
coward who flees from me in sumo wrestling terms, but not necessarily a jerk about it. I've got to keep doing that, Now that you've established yourself at middleweight, and I'm not super worried about you coming back.
Secret time.
That we started recording. This is as unsecret as it gets.
I know. That's why I'm saying secret time, so it can be not that much of a secret.
Yeah. Okay.
I am cutting weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was the move to middleweight just were you just trying something out, or you just wanted to
So the move to middleweight was to prove that with the mass, with my particular style, that it would benefit me. And it did. Now I'm going to cut down, and I'm going to be right around 200 pounds.
Okay.
Right around 200 pounds. So then I can either cut down or go up, especially with like sumo divisions or weigh-ins. You got 2 days before, I can kind of pick my poison. So I'm thinking for nationals, I'll be lightweight, but for the SoCal Open, I'll be middleweight.
I gotcha. Yeah. So incidentally, I am going to be retiring before nationals, so I don't have to back this up. No, I'm kidding. For listeners, if you're unsure, lightweight in sumo is 187 pounds, and middleweight is 220 something, 220 and change.
100 kilo, whatever that.
Yeah. So not exactly 220, but very close. Yeah. But yeah, being kind of in the middle there, if you have like a couple months notice, you could go up or down however you wanted, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. And I think that I'm a little bit more competitive on the world stage at lightweight than middleweight. So we'll see.
I gotcha. But regardless of our soon-to-be rivalry, I can talk as much stuff as much as I want, since we're half a country away from each other.
I see.
That's my strategy with Stan out of Washington. It's like the furthest corner of the continental United States from me. I can talk as big a game as I want. But JJ, the reason I had you on here is that Honu Sumo has been had a killer 2023 and is going to have an even bigger 2024. With your wife Christina medaled at Worlds. That was in October. We talked about that a little bit on the show, but yeah, that's huge deal. Why don't we talk about that first real quick? But we're going to talk about the upcoming SoCal Open, and we're going to talk about 2024 Nationals. But first off, just because I don't think I've talked to you since Worlds, tell me about that trip, because you got to go there with Christina, and you met up with Mencken there too.
Yeah, so I actually recorded when we saw Minkin. We were walking around Ikebukuro, and I was just recording just to record. And then next thing you know, I see him, and I'm like, Minkin, and we just kind of lose it, right? Just
Sure.
because we haven't seen each other for like 2 years, somewhere along those lines.
Mm.
Or no, 1 year, because he came out to the SoCal Open last year.
Oh yeah. Last February he was in the
Yeah,
States, and then yeah, so like 8 months later you're over there in Japan.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
gotcha.
you know, I really like Minkin, even though I think his only goal in life is to troll me. So, whatever
That
that's
tracks.
worth.
Yeah.
So we end up seeing each other, we bond. Christina is in Japan cutting weight for a sumo tournament, which made it extremely difficult.
I cannot think of a more excruciating place to be while also like not eating food.
Yes,
Maybe New
yes,
Orleans. But Japan, yeah.
yeah,
To go across the world to Japan and then like have to not eat everything in sight, like, oh my God, that would suck.
right. And it's like everything's so good and it's so cheap. Everything was so cheap. Like you can get a full meal for $5. And I'm talking
Mm.
about like an amazing meal. God, I need to go back. All right.
Yeah. Now we both just
Yeah.
want to go back to
So
Japan and eat for
so
cheap.
so Christina starts cutting weight. And of course, from there we find a club, like a little gym that she can work out in. And it's all in Ikebukuro. We love Ikebukuro. We made a song about Ikebukuro because we're all silly. Minkin, we meet his girlfriend,
Ooh.
Charlotte, and she's amazing. We all hang out, we're cruising around. Minkin and I sneak over to the Bay, and we're able to train with Kanishki, which is
Yeah.
it was like a bucket list moment that I will cherish for the rest of my life. And I did really good against the Japanese sumo wrestlers. I did
Nice.
really, really good. I went undefeated until world champion number 2. I don't know who that guy is, but he beat the shit out of me.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
that also tracks. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then we get into the tournament, and the tournament's like, the federation is it sucks because they decided not to like assign a coach. So then we all had to kind of coach. It was chaos.
I guess I thought that you and Mencken had been like granted that privilege or something.
Not
It
not
was
not officially, not
no, it was
officially.
all just
Like
kind of off the cuff because you happened
it
to
was
be there.
we were there and I was going and I was like, man, I'm not gonna leave this team, especially the team has my wife and some of my best friends like Kellyanne, Delatorres, like
Yeah.
I Eric, all these people that I absolutely love. I'm going to work on this. So I had Mencken do the translations. So because that's huge. He can
Yeah.
speak Japanese. So when we have to like switch the team tournament around a little bit, the brackets, it's good to know someone that speaks the language, right?
I see. So like when they're making announcements and stuff, you don't have to like wait for the names to get called. You can actually have him be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, they're moving this here or whatever."
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
And then like Mongolia in the women's team tournament, they were confused and they ended up switching out one of their people and then a different fighter went. So they lost that match, regardless if they lost it or not. Like they were disqualified.
Oh, I gotcha. So
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds like it was a little bit of a seat of the pants kind of tournament. And
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
there's always
But
a little bit of that element no matter where you go, regardless of nationals or worlds or whatever. But like,
exactly.
no, that's awesome that yeah, you guys had Mencken there for translating. You being not officially on the team, but one of the best wrestlers in the country, I imagine pretty valuable to have you there as a coach as well.
Yeah. I mean, and what was really cool is there was a weird like canvas floor that they put in the gym. So I took my shoes off and I do this still like now. I started doing just like Ichioshi or Bushkari with my socks and I was like, "Oh my god, this is perfect. This is like I'm on the sand."
Sure.
So I was helping out Kellyanne with her Tachi. I was helping out Christina with their Tachi, and they were looking great. They were looking great. And Christina won't talk about it too much because you know how we all have imposter syndrome regardless of whatever we do.
Mhm.
But if you think about it, like Christina is the most decorated African American female wrestler in American like ever, because
Yeah.
that could be around the world. There's only African Americans in African America.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, fair
You
point.
know,
Yeah.
like, you know,
One of only 5 adult women with a world medal at all.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, just in general, that team's victory is just such a huge, sorry, not 5. It is just the 4 of them because Kellyanne was on the team. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that medal is such a huge deal for American sumo as a whole. I think that's so cool and a testament to how well U.S. amateur sumo has been building the last couple of years.
exactly. And it's
Yeah.
amazing to see how much work, like I see Kellyanne a lot. She comes up to my club and we work. She comes to judo and she works. Like Kellyanne never stops working, right? She like you always want that person that puts in the work and you see them put in the work, and
Mm,
then for that work to be like fruitful it's amazing.
yeah. No, that's something that I know you and I could gush about it for hours, but yeah, that such a huge experience for US amateur sumo as a whole, and especially for the ladies on the team. They're just such an incredible job.
Yeah.
But that was October. Let's fast forward to now, because the next thing that Honu Sumo's got coming up, you guys have your second annual SoCal Open. And I know you already did an interview on Sake and Sumo, and anybody watching this on YouTube, go check that out. That was a lot of fun, especially the part where they talked about anytime they mention me, somebody will like text me and be like, "Hey, Jake, they mentioned you on this show." So I appreciated the kind words you had on there for me as well, of course, because I'm super humble about that. But I don't want you to retread everything. But why don't you give us the basics on the SoCal Open? And in the meantime, let me bring up the results from last year because I want to talk about a couple things there.
All right.
But yeah, when are we gathering? Where are we gathering? And what's the scope of the tournament that you guys are setting up?
All right. So the SoCal Open is going to be in hopefully sunny San Diego. Last year it was not, but this year
What else is there?
it decides to rain when I want to be happy,
Okay.
And this time around we are in a new venue. It's called the Performance Annex, the City Heights Performance Annex, which is like a indoor outdoor stadium auditorium kind of dealio. So the stage is covered. Thank God for the like, just in case it rains.
Just in case, yeah.
So we have we're going to put the ring on that platform. It opens up into a giant courtyard for the city. And then from there, we're going to have vendors, local vendors in San Diego. I even reached out to Sumo Oranges, but they playing. I'm talking to you guys, y'all playing, because they're Southern California sumo. Come on now, what are we doing?
It's such a gimme. Why don't they? Yeah,
Right, right. So we reached out to them. We reached out to a bunch of people. We have some awesome vendors to come out and provide food. Sumo wrestlers, to provide like knickknacks, all kinds of fun little things. We're going to also have musical performances and martial arts demonstrations because it's kind of like a cultural event. And the big thing that I found out when we ran the tournament last year is that we thought we were the first sumo tournament in Southern California, San Diego, and we're not. So
Really?
before World War II, there were sumo tournaments all the time with Japanese immigrants. And then
Okay.
World War II happened. They ended up having to go to camps, and then they which they were still practicing sumo there. But then, they came back and they kind of had to hide their heritage a little bit.
Yeah, it couldn't
Right?
be. Yeah, just such a crappy time. But yeah, being able to express Japanese culture in the 40s was not
Yeah.
not super hot.
No,
Um,
no.
but no, that's where did you find out about that? Is there like any
So
history that you
we
dug up with it?
so one of the people in our in my crew is they work with the Japanese Historical Society of San Diego,
Cool.
and they dropped a lot of knowledge, so we're intertwined with that. And the internment camps started off in February, so it's also our tournament not only being like, Black History, yeah, and my tournament always, but it also is a, a remembrance of such events. So we're
That's
going to
really cool.
have someone speaking about it. We're working really hard to get a speaker that was in a camp to come and talk about it, to speak about their particular like experiences and such.
Mhm.
Hopefully that gets locked down. If not, we'll at least have some of their words.
That is fascinating, and yeah, we should do another podcast sometime on just that. If there's
Yeah.
like specifically a historical society that has, that kind of history of like pre-war West Coast sumo, that that blows my mind. That'd be fascinating to talk about.
Yeah,
But
it's amazing how many things you find out by accident when you think you know everything, and you're
yeah.
like, oh, foot right in my mouth.
Oh no, did you like say, "Oh yeah, we are the first sumo tournament" to somebody that like,
Yes,
yeah, oh no.
yes, yes.
Oh, oh
Yeah.
man. No, but anyways, before I get lost and let my inner history nerd take over another podcast episode. Last year, you put on this show and you did you had all men's divisions and you had light, heavy, and open for women's as well. Um, some of the big stories I remember from last year. Um, this was one of the first ones where Edibo just kind of took over as like this unstoppable monster, to put a big start on his year. But also Mencken came over after how long he's been in Japan for a while, right? And he'd been training with like a local club and stuff. And
Yes,
then
he works at a high school. He goes like
okay,
once or twice a month.
either way, I thought it was really cool because he came back and brought a bunch of knowledge and decided to compete in every single division,
Yes.
and did pretty well. What are some other highlights from last year that were memorable for you?
There is a match between Edible and Justin Kizzard. And
Mm.
I have the photo, and I swear it's just as good as the Jordan dunking,
Yeah.
right? In the future, you're going to see on sweaters or t-shirts that I make a silhouette of those two just launching, because Justin wins it, right? Justin
Hmm.
wins it. He literally Hondas. He's completely parallel to the ground, pushing Edible out. It's amazing. It's my favorite match. Also Sean Jackson doing the Sean Jackson, where he was being a little extra violent, and Mike from Rain City decided to make it rain on his face. It was so there was
Little
like
comeuppance.
yeah, it was cool synergy in all of those matches.
Yeah. That yeah, I'd forgotten about that specific match. I know that I used that picture in a newsletter. Um where yeah, Justin's horizontal going somewhat away from the camera and Edo's trying to get the pull down at the last second and it's not working.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
man. Yeah,
it's a
that's
great
excellent.
one. And then Justin just like taking the biggest crap in the middle of the ring against Joe.
Oh, that one I don't remember. And Justin's probably happy I don't, but yeah,
We all have those matches. We all have them, and you're just like, damn it.
dude, the first sumo like training camp that we did in Iowa, there's only one match of mine that got filmed, and it's the one where I got slapped down in 2 seconds.
Ah,
Yeah, my very first time in the ring, I had that experience, so I completely understand immediately how much that sucks.
yeah.
But anyways, quick overview of last year. Yeah, Joe did win lightweight. Kizzert and Edo came in second and third. Middleweight, Edo entered that division. Well, Edo and Mencken did. Edo got
Yes.
first in that one. Mencken got second. Then Josh Crook got third. Let's see, light heavy. That's right. OC Sumo's Patrick Chavis came down from slightly less Southern California to take that gold medal. Brian Nero and Danny Avila, second and third heavyweight. Oh, that's right. And then it was the Gilberto show from then on because
Yes.
Gil beat Kyle and Danny for heavyweight gold, and then Angel and Edo were runners up to Gil in open weight.
Yeah. Gil. Oh, I have a photo of Gil looking like delatory Jesus, just offering his soul to the mat. It's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a handful of tournaments where he's shown up on his day and he just cleans house.
Yeah.
On the women's side, Kellyanne did the same, going undefeated at heavy and open. Also had Christina did heavyweight, got second, and SD out of Texas got medals in open and heavy. I didn't know any of the lightweights, the lightweight women. Were they all locals? You got
All
some
locals.
Very cool.
And we're getting a few repeats. So Nancy, I think in the tournament it was Guzman. Now it's Quidiche. I'm trying my best. It's a Guam name, and I suck at Guam names. And then we have Mariana, and so we're having more of repeats coming from there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was last year though. Yeah, what do you have anybody that you already know is going to be showing up for this year? What's the roster looking like?
The roster's looking good. It's looking good. I think the numbers can always be better, right? Especially since we got a bigger venue. So I'm hoping for more wrestlers, but we're having I'm doing this like who's that Pokemon thing with
I have seen a couple of those.
So I'm trying not to give out too much, but I already announced Kellyanne's coming out. But you're going to see top talent from the US and international.
Ooh, cool.
Yes. Yeah, so we have some heavy international men coming through.
Okay. We'll leave that one mysterious, but go definitely yeah, that's primarily Instagram is where I see stuff for that, right? So that's Honu Sumo, Honu Sumo on Instagram. Play that guess that rickshaw game with silhouettes. I love the art that you guys have set up for those already.
Yeah, nobody has guessed right. Oh wait, no. You know what? I take that back. Brenda got Geo right. She got Geo right.
Okay.
Yeah, but she then didn't get Kellyanne right.
Her own fiance. She just
hey, that's how it works. It's
funny.
Also like my second favorite photo of Kellyanne that Brenda has no idea about.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. I don't know which one that would be. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm super excited for it. And we'll mention it again at the end when I have you tell people where to find you. But how can people watch it that are not going to be in San Diego?
You'll be able to watch it on the Maximum Effort Studios YouTube channel. The link is in the bio of our Instagram, and you can also find that link on SanDiegoSumo.com.
Cool. Oh, well, there you go. That's a perfect address to lock down. So anything else you want to cover on SoCal before we move on to your other big responsibility of the year?
Yes. So big thing. I'm working with a recovery technology. So the athletes will have access to like super expensive recovery technology during the tournament. It's called Aura Well. So it's like an electro impedance, like non-invasive thing that warms up your muscle and your joints.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So if you are on my Instagram, I did share me looking like that hedonistic bot that's all chubby in a chair
from Futurama. Yeah,
exactly. I look like that because I'm uncomfortably doing an interview sitting back in a recliner. I don't know why that angle, but the whole time I'm talking about it, and everything I say there is like true to form, and it's been able to get me back into a little bit more explosion, if you know,
Sure.
off the Tachi.
Gotcha. No, that's really cool. Just from just as like a sponsor of the tournament, they're
Yep,
gonna be there helping out with the athletes.
exactly.
That's
So
really cool.
yeah, they're coming through, and it's only for the athletes. The athletes will have like unlimited access to this, and you know, I'm sure there's wherever you are, you will be able to find a unit that you can use. I can't afford one, so it's really awesome to bring one.
There you go. There you go. That's awesome. Awesome. So the SoCal Open, if I have my calendar right, that is going to be February 24th.
Yes, February
Uh,
24th, 2024, and that is a Saturday. The start time is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
there you go. So, as mentioned, you got another responsibility this year.
Oh
It
yeah.
has been announced publicly, but I know you're obviously your priorities are on the first hurdle in front of you.
Thank you for
But
understanding that.
totally get it. There are only a handful of people in amateur sumo that have taken on multiple tournaments at once, and every single time it's like it's the stock pro wrestler pro rickshaw answer, like I just take it one match at a time. Yeah, so I get it. You got to take it one tournament at a time. But
Yes.
Nationals is also going to be in San Diego this year. That's going to
Yes.
be on June 1st. What do we know so far about that? Because I know that, like I said, it's plenty far out. I know there's going to be plenty going on that still has to be decided. But what do we know so far?
So far we have the venue set. It will be at Lincoln High School, which has held the CIF, which is like the California wrestling uh, top level tournament. I'm
Sure.
sure Iowa has something that's way cooler, but California, you guys do wrestling
You
better.
guys have like 20 times as many people as we do, though. So
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure
your wrestling's better, like hands down.
per capita, maybe. But like, yeah, no, regardless, though, you're saying it's a venue that's well
It,
suited
yeah,
for
it
a
can hold about 15,000 people.
dang. Wow.
So, oh no, I'm sorry, 1,500. Sorry, 1,500,
Oh,
1,500,
okay.
1,500. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
15,000, honestly, that would
Uh,
probably just kind of look silly
it,
with as many
it'd be
people as
so
would be there.
empty. It'd be so empty.
Yeah. We'll
I,
have like maybe a couple hundred. So
yeah, yeah. Which you got to fight with the federation a little bit, talking about the venue, and they're like,
as is
"Oh, it's not
tradition.
big enough." I'm like, "It holds CIF. I can guarantee you that where all the schools in California can fit in there, I'm pretty sure this will work. We partnered with the Lincoln High School wrestling, so they will also be there providing us food and stuff along
Nice.
those lines. So they'll be able to like raise money for their school and be able to compete. It's a brand new school, but it's in like a historically black neighborhood. So sometimes the money from the neighborhood doesn't go into the school.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And wrestling is it's a redheaded stepchild. And especially like female wrestling, which they have a really, really good program. That's the one that gets less money. Football, all the money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I was gonna ask like that's football is the big high school sport. That's that part of the country.
yeah.
I mean,
Football,
that's most
football.
parts of the
Yeah,
country, but
football,
still.
baseball, a little bit of soccer, not that much,
Yeah.
and lacrosse awkwardly. Like we really like lacrosse in San Diego. I don't get it, but we do.
I've never really understood lacrosse. But that's
I'm very confused.
that's for another time. It's like hockey on land, but also worse. Yeah, come to me for more lacrosse hot takes. Anyways, so yeah, nationals. Keep an eye out for more stuff on that. There's obviously going to be plenty of developments coming up there. But nationals is the only way to qualify to go to worlds. If you want to go to the Sumo World Championship, to get on Team USA, you have to compete at nationals or have
I
like a strong enough history at nationals that, you get the call up if somebody else backs out. But
I will say that we are working extremely hard, even though we have a tournament coming up that all my focus is going to. On
Mhm.
the backside of it, I am trying to use that tournament to develop youth
There you go.
because it's all about the youth. It's all about the youth, especially at the World Sumo Championship. Like, there's a whole day for them, and they have 3 weight divisions. We haven't been able to fill in 3 weight divisions. This is an issue, right? So we have, I mean, like, it's not much of a spoiler, but we have Malik and we have Gio, who are in Southern California and really top talent, right?
Yeah.
You know, and they're really trying to push into that. And I think, you know, they're gonna try to kill each other, and it's gonna be awesome in the ring, in the ring, in the ring, in the ring. And
yeah.
you know, and then we have Ben coming in after his training with Kanishiki and hanging out with Aoyama, right? Like, there's a lot that he's going to bring into there. Then we got Perry.
Yep.
Perry. Ooh, messed it up a little bit. Who brings in that heavyweight. But also, since I'm working in with the high school and I have my my foundation, the Maximum Effort Foundation, we're going to try to like shepherd more of those high school wrestlers in, right? Because they're all over the place on weight. If we can get them in and they like it and they're doing it and they're like, let's go from there, we'll, because our federation sucks. Maximum Effort Foundation should be able to.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. Okay, well,
you are preaching to the choir, my friend.
The members of the federation are great. The leadership.
Yeah. Speaking of hot takes,
you know, you know, if you're awesome, we're already in a chat room talking. If you're not in that chat room, you know you're a piece of shit.
I always I mean, for like my new Iowan wrestlers, whenever we talk about, like, you know, federation, what does the USSF really do? It's like, pay your dues, go to nationals if you want, just pay your dues once a month and pretend they're not there. It's cheap, just move on with your life.
yeah.
Oh well. But no,
I've been in multiple federations, right? Like, I think the judo one is probably, out of all the federations that I've had to join, probably the best. Because what do you get with your membership? You get insurance.
Just by being a member?
By being a member.
That idea itself is foreign to me. That's ridiculous.
And the deductible's a little high, but what it's made for is, if you read the waivers, there's like, oh, if you get blinded or paralyzed, we'll take care of you. We got you, right? And I had a friend that like got thrown laterally from a throw and he tore his knee apart, right? That's just how it happened. Guess what? The federation, the judo federation, paid for it.
That's what they're supposed to be there for, you know, helping out their athletes. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some amount of it where it comes down to scale, and United States Sumo is still, we're on our way up, but we're still starting pretty low. So
this is true.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. Someday we'll get there, especially with the new blood in the federation that care. I see them, you know. Also, just a weird side note about chat rooms. Can all of you guys remove the emojis from your names, especially you? Because it's like a peach emoji, a heart emoji, or something like that.
No, it's somebody gave me that name. There was a period when I got my new phone that I kept butt dialing that giant group chat of like 50 people.
Yes.
So it's a peach, a phone, and a crown, because I'm the butt dial king.
Okay, so I didn't even know I still had AirPods in, and it reads every time. It's like, Jake, heart emoji, blah 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 emoji, blah blah blah, and then for Cornelius, it's Cornelius, President Corn emoji.
Yeah,
it says it every time. It's driving me crazy, but I want to be in the. I want to be in there.
Yeah, it doesn't show you your own nickname in like a Facebook group chat unless you look for it. So yeah, for me, I didn't even know it was still in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
That makes me feel stupid.
Every day it comes in, I'm like, it also has a hard time with Kaylin's name.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Anybody that's got an unconventional spelling, text to voice is going to be garbage, isn't it? Hey, one last topic that I wanted to bring up here is you guys at Honu Sumo and that Maximum Effort YouTube channel you mentioned. You guys have been doing awesome on getting video and putting out just recording your sumo chats and stuff like that. Tell me more about how you guys got started in that and like what kind of stuff you do, because I feel like more people should be watching the stuff that you guys put out. It's awesome.
Yeah, so it started off me, it was me, Mencken, and Christina. We are hanging out. We're like, you know what? We should record a podcast. We did one, and it was to sum up the World Games. And
Oh, sure.
it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And this is why, if you notice, Mencken and Christina are never together because they both have this thing where it's like chaos, and then it looked like I felt like I was Joe Jackson and the Jackson 5 were doing their thing, and I'm just there like, stay on topic, stop doing that, stop dancing, no more boogaloo. Right? Like
Oh
it was an
man.
issue. So I separated, and first it started off with me and Mencken. Me and Mencken, we have like this weird like hate relationship, and it just kind of works. Right?
Yeah.
He beat me in the first tournament that I ever did, and he kicked the crap out of me. I swear I had a hairline fracture from his kick. His kiki atoshi. It really hurt. But from there, I was like, man, I'm never gonna let him win. So I always dominated him physically. So now mentally he attacks me back.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
And that translates into media form.
And then exactly. And so now he's just trolling, right? And then Christina, I you have to do a podcast with your wife to just like connect all of the awesome things that we do and just like record it. Especially, you know, we want to have children and we want to leave something so that they can see it.
Sure.
And it's literally as we're going through our sumo journey and building something from nothing to something, we want to catalog that.
That is an excellent way to put it. I love that.
Yeah. And of course, since I'm JJ, I decide I never just want to do one thing. I want to do a million things. That's just how I work. My
Whoa,
brain
what's that
has to
like? I
keep
have no
going.
idea.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't
I know.
relate to that at all.
I know I'm preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
So then I started doing why sumos. And the reason why is like literally everyone was saying, why the fuck are you doing sumo? Like, that's the number one question. And then I knew it was the number one question for me. All of my buddies were like, dude, you do jujitsu, you're a judoka, you're blah, blah, blah. Or you're not fat, you're not this, you're not blah, blah, blah. Right. And it's like, why? And then I thought about it. And I was like, I know I'm not the only person that's getting this why. So then we did the Sumo Dan's first tournament at the Mr. America, and it's the first ones felt terrible. I didn't want to be in the shot. I hate my own voice.
Oh, it's the
I was,
worst. That what is yeah.
it's
Worst
like,
part about doing podcasting
yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah. And then you just have to like accept it. And then you start going crazy that you accept it. Then you feel nervous when people see you listening to yourself. And then
Yeah, speaking of that imposter syndrome we mentioned before.
right. So I'm like, all right, it starts off, I get Dan and I get everyone that first round, and it's like they're pretty terrible. They're shot in like vertical because I felt like that was cool. And then it had like text messages pop up because I didn't want to use my voice. It was a whole thing. And then I just sat back and I was like, no, I just need to like chat with these guys. I have to like sit down and just do what we do. Like we already do this normally. Like how like you sit around at a consulates cup, like where I got you, and it's like, let's just talk about why you do sumo. Like how'd you get into this? And
no, that was super fun. And you mentioned that they were kind of rough at the beginning.
yeah.
By the time at the consulates cup when you were talking to people, you're like a pro. I mean, you just wandering around, you got the gear set up immediately, and you just have your I don't know. I had a good time. I thought your skills at interviewing are absolutely nothing to feel imposter syndrome about for sure. But I think you guys have gotten real good at those.
Yeah, and like I add in all of that, and I'm like, man, I really love sumo. I love amateur sumo. It's its own thing. I love the people. I love like the people is that's everything, right? Like
Mhm.
we go in, and I remember that first nationals at the Consolates Cup. I go in and I beat. I think his name was he's Grand Rapids guy. Michael? No, Mitchell.
Micah?
Micah. So I beat Micah and I get him with like a skinage, right? Just like a nice smooth skinage. And we're watching it at the sake and we're watching it together and we're just chatting. And I was still drinking at the time and we're like drinking a little bit, talking about it. We rewind, we watch it again. I'm like, this community is amazing.
Mhm.
Right. And of course,
I've yet to really figure out why. I have some guesses, but like for whatever reason, yeah, it's just the best. Like
yeah,
everybody shows up and like you meet a guy and you're immediately like, "Oh, you're here too? Okay, I guess we're friends."
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
And then of course we have to do pro sumo too, which I love that. I that's my area of opportunity where I can grow.
Mhm.
Minkin's way better at it, and he usually forces it on me. Where he's like, "This is the guy. This is going to be the guy." And I'm like, "Takayasu, I love you, Takayasu," or "Uda, it's going to be a Uda show," and then I get depressed usually by the end of the basho.
Takayasu. Yep. I
Yep.
also get depressed by the
Yep.
end of most bashos.
Takayasu. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man. No, yeah, who speaking of pro sumo, which rickshi are those four Tagatas behind you from?
I have Uda, I have Takakesho, I have Konishiki, and then I have Asanoyama.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, those um that's I don't know why more sports don't do things like that. That's like the coolest
It's so
collectible out
cool.
there.
It's really cool. And each one's unique. When we went to the sumo and sushi with Kanishiki,
Hmm.
I was like, it took me 15 minutes to grab one of his hands. Right. I was like, no, I don't like this print. I don't like this one. Blah, 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 blah. And then I end up buying one and I'm like, yeah, this was the best. And then his manager sees me and he's like, JJ. And he just gives me all this swag. And I'm like,
Yeah.
one for the office, one for home.
Oh, that's excellent. All right. Well, why don't we wrap it up there? As usual, I have lost track of time and gone beyond where I had budgeted. But such is the case with sumo interviews, of course, as I'm sure you have come to learn as well.
Oh yeah.
But regardless, we quick summary of the stuff that we've been talking about here. We talked about Worlds, where Christina brought home a World Championship bronze to Honu Sumo. We talked about the SoCal Open coming up. That's the most important here because that's coming up in just a couple weeks. So February 24th, get down to San Diego, and then Nationals on June 1st, also in San Diego. Why don't we go over your socials and such one more time? Where can people find you guys for that guess that Rickshi and streaming and all that?
The best way to communicate to us is usually through Instagram. That's going to be Honu Sumo on Instagram. That's HONU Sumo. You can also email us at honusumo@gmail.com. And if you want to just browse and see what we're about, san diego sumo.com, just go ahead and browse through there, and you can also reach us through there. Everything comes directly to either me, Christina, or Minkin, and we will get back to you usually within an hour.
Gotcha. And what's that YouTube channel one more time?
The YouTube channel is Maximum Effort Studios.
There you go. And yeah, I laughed when you brought out the Raphael Funko Pop earlier because yeah, that's yeah. Last thing as we go out here, how did that end up being your logo?
I,
How'd you get a Ninja Turtle? Like what's the deal with that?
So on Instagram, there's a guy named Movie Mulligan who lives in San Diego.
Oh, that's
who's
right.
a
He's from out
fan
there
of
too.
San Diego, of sumo. And I was like, I kept seeing him like pop up on this and that. I'm like, North Park, that's in my neighborhood. So we reached out, and I was like, this is I want to like commission this, and I want it to be like vectorized. And first he came out and it was Donatello. I was like, no, I'm not that smart.
Close, but we're not going there.
I'm not that smart. That's not how this works. And then we went back and forth, and it was like Raphael, when I'm in the ring, that's who I feel like.
Okay.
Right. That's the guy in the ring. That's the guy that's like, he's mean, but he's kind, but he's mean. He's mean intense. In the ring. Yes, yes. He loves his brothers.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% Donatello. That least surprising diagnosis out there. But yeah, no, I love that reasoning because that's I forgot Movie Mulligan was from your town too. That's really cool. Another awesome follow on Instagram. He does lots of art and specifically a lot of sumo art. So shout out to him. He
can't, if you reach out to him, he will make you anything within his style, and he'll work with you on it. And it's my favorite to have vectorized images that you can literally remove whatever you want. Like sometimes I don't want the ring, I don't need the Tawada, right? And you can remove anything and everything.
Sure.
Spend the money and support local artists or sumo artists.
Yeah. Doesn't matter where they're from. If they're doing sumo, they're all right. Yeah, this is a Movie Mulligan right here. It's Hakuho standing over Terano Fuji after that final match between the two of them. Had to get that one for the wall. All right. Well, JJ, thank you so much for joining me. Everybody keep an eye out for the SoCal Open coming up in February. Get there if you can, stream it if you can't, and also keep nationals on your calendar. I am already working on stockpiling sunscreen because me in San Diego in June, I hope that nationals is a one-day thing because the day after I will be a lobster.
I have one last thing. If you come to San Diego, do not pay for a hotel. Get Airbnb. It's the only way to go. The hotel will be high. It's San Diego. It will be expensive. But if you get an Airbnb, you will pay like $30 to $75 a day for a house.
Whoa. So okay.
Do Airbnb.
One of the only places in the country where that industry hasn't collapsed yet.
Yes.
We'll see how it looks in June, but yeah, I'll test your theory out there in a couple months.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me. Keep an eye out for Maximum Effort Studios and those tournaments. But thanks again for the time, JJ.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
throw your salt high
and keep moving forward.